Hey everyone, stop what you're doing right now because most retirees and soon-to-be retirees are about to get blindsided by brand new IRS rules that could quietly wipe out tens of thousands from their savings. And the crazy part is the majority still have no clue these changes even happened. If you've got money sitting in a traditional IRA or a 401k, you absolutely need to hear this today because there's a hidden tax explosion waiting to go off in your retirement accounts, and ignoring it could cost you a fortune. Stick with me through this entire video because I'm going to walk you through exactly what these required minimum distributions really are, how the recent law changes have shifted everything, the brutal penalties if you slip up, and most importantly, the smart moves you can make right now to protect your hard-earned money and keep more of it in your pocket instead of handing it over to Uncle Sam. If this kind of practical retirement planning helps you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update that could save you serious cash. And drop a comment below telling me your birth year or whether you're already taking RMDs so we can build a community discussion around this. All right, let's dive straight in. Picture this. For years, maybe even decades, you've been diligently contributing to your traditional retirement accounts, loving how every bit of growth happens without the IRS taking a cut right away, letting your balance compound faster and stronger than it ever could in a regular taxable account. That tax-deferred magic feels incredible while you're building wealth, but here's the reality check nobody likes to talk about. The government isn't giving you that break out of kindness. They've been patiently waiting in the background, and required minimum distributions, or RMDs, are how they finally collect the taxes they've deferred all this time. These aren't optional suggestions or gentle reminders from the IRS. They are mandatory withdrawals you have to take each year once you reach a certain age, and every dollar you pull out gets taxed as ordinary income, sometimes pushing you into a higher bracket you never expected and even making more of your Social Security benefits taxable too. That's the ticking tax bomb so many people walk right into without realizing it. The good news is you can diffuse it with some advanced planning, but first you need to understand when these withdrawals actually start, because this part has changed dramatically in recent years and caught a lot of folks completely off guard. Back in the day, everyone remembered the old rule of starting at age 70 and a half. Then Congress bumped it to 72, and now, thanks to the Secure 2.0 Act, we've got a two-tier system depending on when you were born. If your birth year is before 1960, your RMDs begin at age 73, which gives you a bit more breathing room than the previous setup. But if you were born in 1960 or later, you actually get even longer. Your first required withdrawal doesn't hit until you turn 75. That extra couple of years can make a huge difference in your overall strategy. So the very first action item is to confirm your exact age trigger based on your birth year, because getting that wrong throws off your entire timeline. Missing an RMD is no small oversight either. The IRS doesn't mess around here. If you forget, miscalculate, or simply don't withdraw the full amount you're supposed to, they hit you with a 25% penalty on whatever portion you failed to take out. Yes, you read that right, 25%, which used to be a punishing 50% before they dialed it back a little. But even at 25, it's still one of the steepest penalties in the entire tax system. To put real numbers on it, imagine you've grown your IRA to around $1 million, a solid achievement after years of smart saving and investing. Depending on your age and the IRS life expectancy tables, your first RMD might be roughly $40,000 or more. Skip that withdrawal entirely, and you're not just facing income taxes when you eventually correct it, you're also looking at an extra $10,000 penalty slapped on top just for that one missed year. That's money gone forever over something that's completely preventable with a little attention.
But here's where we shift from warning to empowerment, because that penalty exists to motivate action, not to trap you. And the truth is, you never have to pay it if you stay proactive. You don't have to sit passively while forced withdrawals flood your tax return with extra income and potentially jack up your overall tax bill, inflate Medicare premiums, or reduce other benefits. Instead, you can take the reins and use proven strategies to minimize or even eliminate the damage. One of the most powerful tools available is something called a Roth conversion, and it's honestly a game changer for so many people in the right situation. The concept is straightforward. Rather than waiting for the government to force money out of your traditional account at whatever tax rate applies in your 70s or later, you deliberately convert portions of it to a Roth IRA now, pay the taxes at today's rates, which might be lower if you're in a quieter income period, and then let that money grow completely completely tax-free for the rest of your life. Best of all, Roth IRAs have no lifetime RMD requirement for the original owner, meaning you can leave that money untouched if you want, pass it to heirs with huge tax advantages, or withdraw it whenever it suits you without any mandatory schedule. It's like flipping the script and turning a future tax headache into a tax-free powerhouse. Another fantastic option, especially if you're generous or support specific causes, is the Qualified Charitable Distribution, often called a QCD. This lets you direct up to a certain amount, currently around $100,000 per year, straight from your IRA to a qualified charity without it ever counting as taxable income to you. The money satisfies your RMD obligation just like a regular withdrawal would, but since it bypasses your personal tax return entirely, you avoid adding that income and potentially pushing yourself into a worse bracket or triggering other side effects. It's genuinely a win-win. Your favorite nonprofit gets the support it needs, and you check off your IRS requirement in the most tax-efficient way possible. Of course, these aren't the only approaches. Things like strategic timing of other income sources, bunching deductions, or even coordinating with a spouse's situation can all play a role. But the foundation starts with awareness and projection. So here's a clear, actionable 4-step plan you can start applying immediately to make sure you're not caught off guard. First, lay out your full retirement income picture. Include Social Security, any pensions, rental properties, part-time work, investment dividends, everything you expect to receive. Second, run projections for your future RMDs using reliable online calculators or software that factors in your current balance, expected growth rates, and your specific start age of 73 or 75. Don't underestimate how much those balances could grow over the next decade or more. Third, combine those numbers and stress test your future tax situation. Add the projected RMDs on top of your other income and see if it bumps you into a higher federal or state bracket, makes more of your Social Security taxable, or increases your Medicare Part B and D premiums through IRMA surcharges. Fourth, and finally, based on what that analysis shows, decide which strategies make the most sense for your unique circumstances. Maybe begin a series of Roth conversions during lower income years, set up QCDs if charitable giving is part of your plan, adjust your investment mix for better tax efficiency, or consult a trusted financial advisor or tax professional to fine-tune everything. The bottom line is this: required minimum distributions aren't some obscure footnote you can deal with later. They're a core element that shapes how much control you truly have over your money in retirement. Ignore them and you're essentially letting the IRS dictate large chunks of your cash flow and tax burden during your golden years. Plan ahead thoughtfully and you're the one steering the ship, choosing when and how much tax you pay, preserving more wealth for yourself, your family, or the causes you care about. Your future self will thank you for taking the time to understand and act on this now instead of scrambling later when the rules are already in motion. If any part of this resonated with you or sparked a question, leave it in the comments below. I read them all and love hearing what you're thinking about your own situation. Hit that like button if this cleared things up or helped you spot something important. Subscribe for more no-nonsense retirement and tax-saving tips just like this, and share the video with anyone you know who's building or living off retirement savings, because this stuff affects millions and most people aren't talking about it enough. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. You've just taken a big step toward protecting the retirement you've worked so hard to create. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.